when I first spoke to you, I was having these thoughts that maybe if I would have just recorded this session and put this on YouTube, so many people would have connected with that because that was our authentic conversation, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and when you put this idea, so I was having this thought in my mind. I mean, did I really think this same thought? Then same time, at the same time, I told you that even I was having similar thoughts. Right. You remember that, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
So yeah. So should I continue with more questions?
I think whatever you feel the need to ask naturally, you can ask. You could also ask me questions that you wrote down too, because both are just as important. You need structure, but you also need flow.
Yeah, because actually I wanted to keep this question and answer session for people who are just beginning their journey, who
Okay.
are who are just beginners. But I believe people who are even at their starting point, even they will be able to relate with authentic conversation, I believe.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
even look at you, look at me, look at everybody who gravitates towards these kinds of things. The so-called professionals, they don't necessarily reach out to only beginners. They reach out to whoever's willing to listen. It's not about let's start from zero and work our way up. It's here's everything I've learned, here's all the tools, do what you want with it. And this is what I can offer you. So, this is what we're doing now.
Would you like to share your biggest manifestation that it was even surprising even for you? Is there any?
Honestly, so much throughout my life is surprising, but also fulfilling. Sometimes the biggest shock to me is just coming into the awareness that little thoughts that I've had throughout my day that I didn't even mean intentionally have manifested, you know? Um, for example, I think that especially beginning your journey of becoming a more intentional thinker is almost not just intriguing, but interesting and exciting in the way where you start realizing, hey, wait, I am manifesting at every second of every day. I need to become more aware of my thoughts because they're happening rapidly. And for example, I think I'll share one positive, one negative, where I've
Sure.
thought to myself, oh, I look outside and I start thinking like, oh, I hope it doesn't rain. And it's 95-degree weather. And then later in the day, it starts raining. Or I accidentally stub my toe because I wasn't wearing shoes. And I said, earlier in the day, I hope I don't accidentally hit my foot because I don't have flip flops on or sneakers. And then little things where I've said, oh, I pray I find a rubber band for my hair because my hair is loose and it's hot out. And then all of a sudden I look down and I find a rubber band. Or, I need $5 just to buy a snack. And then I look in my pocket that I haven't worn the jacket in 5 months and there's $5. Things like that. These are instantaneous manifestations that if you don't realize like little things, they're always building up and they're creating your experience entirely. For me to text you was a manifestation. For you to text me is a manifestation because we wholeheartedly believe that we're going to speak at this set time and we're going to have this conversation and it's going to unfold in a positive way where we know we're both going to learn something. Whatever it is, we don't really have expectations necessarily. We know we're going to get something out of it. So even things like that, you're about to go to work and you know that whatever happens throughout the day, you have to get done whatever is in your schedule. That's a manifestation. You're planning out what you're going to do, you know you're going to get it done. These are different aspects of creating.
So I have heard this, everything in our life, from very small things to whatever things that matter most to us, everything is our manifestation. So in Neville's terms, it is everything is you pushed out. So everything in your experience is you outpicturing it, right? Suppose we are five family members sitting together, right? There are so many people. And in that situation, something good or something bad happens. Who manifested it?
You. But you also have to think about who manifested all those people being with you at once. Also, you. Life is a blank slate, it's a blank canvas, it's pure white. There's nothing on it. Your mind is constantly projecting images. Your mind is the paintbrush that is painting this beautiful picture on top of this blank slate. So, whether you realize it or not, everything that you experience from simply walking step by step, from simply looking in one direction to the next, these are all things that you are creating and projecting. Now, why we don't recognize that we're doing it is because it's coming from an unconscious state. It's coming from a state of normalcy and what we believe to be true. So,
But what about those people's consciousness? I
they
mean, are
exist.
they just puppet in my consciousness?
It's interesting because these are really good questions. They exist in their own right, but their experience is completely different from yours. Remember, everything is unfolding at an infinite rate. Therefore, possibilities, therefore, realities are infinite. Now, the reality you're experiencing is the reality that in your mind is best suited for you. Just because somebody else is in your reality doesn't mean that they're experiencing the same reality as you. They're not. In their conscious perception, they could be experiencing a reality where that scenario never even existed, never happened. Maybe they never even met you. Maybe they have a different family member. These are all possibilities and these are all realities. So everyone in your life is a manifestation of whatever you need in order to get you where you need to be. And that's why when people, use the terminology, you can't change others, you can only change yourself. It's so true because there are no others. There's nobody else but you. Your mind is not capable of perceiving anyone else but you. Therefore, if life is a blank slate and it's only just a projection, that means everything is only being created in your mind, even the people you love. So they don't exist. And you don't even really exist. You exist in a way where your identity exists and your reality exists in its own right, but it's all for show. It's real and it's not real at the same time. And whatever you make it out to be is what it will be. But it all begins with you because basically you're the machine where film is constantly being rotated and you're filtering out whatever image is on that film inside this machine that is your body. The film is your mind and your imagination. Your body is the mechanism where everything filters out and creates the movie. And inside the movie, because it's coming from you, because it's coming from your light, that means whatever is being presented on the screen is still you. So even the actors in your play, your friends, your families, your colleagues, strangers on the street you see once, you never see again, people passing that you don't even notice, they're all put there by your subconscious. And they would never be there unless your subconscious created that scene for you to experience.
Have you read that book, The Law and the Promise by Neville Goddard? You have not, right?
No,
And have you watched that movie Titanic?
I have.
All right, great. So you are going to relate. So there is a chapter in that book. Originally, the story of Titanic happened in 1912. And there was a book that was written by a writer in 1897. So around 14 to 15 years earlier to Titanic, there was a book written by a writer. The name of the book was Futility, and it is still available on internet. You can search it yourself. Everything was is mentioned in great detail. The length of the ship, the kind of people that are traveling, the exact story, the aristocratic families, 250 to 300 people, very rich people that are traveling, the length 800, the displacement 80,000 cubic feet or whatever. The ship was deemed unsinkable, right? The exact story in 1897, the number of rescue boats they had on the Titanic ship, it was not uh, sufficient for the existing people. The exact story, it was written in 1897, right? And would you believe the name of the ship? What do you think? What would be the name of the ship that that was written in 1897? You know what the name of the ship was?
Tell me.
It was it was Titan.
Wow.
The original book that was written in 1897. You can still check it. The name of the book is Futility, and barely anything does not match with the real story of Titanic. Barely any description. In the original story, 300 families, very rich families, were traveling from New York to whatever place or whatever place, and the iceberg hit that and the ship sank. So, you know, people are just playing their parts, and whatever is happening to them, it will happen to them. They are just your puppets. That is what I have come to know. As Neville Goddard famously said, if you have impressed your subconscious of anything, then if 1,000 people are required to fulfill that, then 1,000 people are going to play that part, and that thing will happen.
Yes.
You know, I once typed in ChatGPT, according to Neville Goddard, can I become the president of United States? And I'm born in India. So ChatGPT said Neville Goddard would say you can absolutely become it. The law of the United States will change for you if you impress your subconscious. The whole Congress will vote in your favor. Whatever circumstances that are needed to
Yes.
be arranged in your favor for you to become the president of the United States, it will happen. It has to happen because you have impressed your subconscious. I mean, uh,
Yes. Yes, it
yeah.
is true.
So the thing that I was really shocked by was that Titanic story. That
Yes.
that book Utility. So you please go through that. So what I believe, some person may have read that, or one person and few people may have read that book, or may have thought about it deeply, that it impressed their subconscious, that it outpictured in the real world. 14, 15 years later.
I
That
will
is
tell
quite
you
fun.
something,
Sure,
and this is really, it's blowing my mind, so I don't know how it will make you feel.
sure.
But as you were telling me this story, an
Which
image
one?
flashed back about Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
An image flashed back to when I was in, I believe, maybe the third grade. And we had a project in school where we had to pick a documentary, a nonfiction writing to assess and learn about. And I had always loved the movie Titanic. So I was looking for something that I didn't really have to study. I just wanted to find something that I had seen and I could write about easily. So I pick nonfiction, the Titanic, not knowing that it was going to completely change my perspective on the fact that the movie I watched wasn't real. And it had nothing to do with the actual Titanic in 1912. And so, as you're telling me this, it reinforces the fact that sometimes, for example, if I didn't have that experience in the third grade where I picked out that book, I watched the movie, I realized things are not always what we seem for them to be. They are impressionable, they are what you make it out to be. Would it have prepared me for this conversation? Things happen in our life that we don't even realize are necessary for experiences, for conversations that may happen 20 years down the road. And what I had been through, just from one experience in the third grade, prepared me for this moment now. You
Isn't
believe
it
that?
too far-fetched?
It's amazing. And that is also a part of my manifestation. Maybe if I had never read that story, read that nonfiction version of the Titanic, or even
You
watched the
have you
movie,
already you have already read the non-fiction story of the
I have
Titanic?
read it. So I didn't read the book that you're telling me about, but I read
Okay.
the actual nonfiction story of
Okay.
Titanic. Now, let's say I
Okay.
didn't read that. There's a big possibility you would have never brought that up in my reality because it would have never surfaced or processed for me in the way that it just did now.
So you read how Titanic, the 1912 one, actually sank, not the book that was written in 1897, right?
Yes, I saw the movie first,
You
and
saw the
then,
movie first, then you read that how it
yes,
actually happened, the entire thing. And now
everything.
you got to know that it actually was written way back in 1897. It was actually fiction that came into
Exactly.
uh,
So it is all connected, and it connected for this conversation, it connected in the now, and who knows how this conversation will impact us in another 5 years. Because like I was saying, and even what you were saying before, you don't realize that your life has prepared you for moments unseen. There's so many things, for example, how I was born, how you were born, how we were brought up, that if we didn't go through those moments, maybe it wouldn't have been as easy for us to communicate in the way that we are now, not just with each other, but we're doing it for a global audience. We're doing this for people to see all around the world. That's why we're doing this. And life has prepared us to share what we've learned with more than just ourselves. So, for example, there's maybe more to the fact that you recently picked up on reading about spirituality. You needed to go through all that life experience. Now you needed to learn about it from a different perspective, maybe the spiritual angle, because in this moment, what we're doing together is going to act as a catalyst for something we can't see yet. But it's connecting. It's connecting in moments, like you said, from hindsight, that whether it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago, wow, that's why that happened. That's why I went through that.